What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel. As you can tell, I'm in a different location. I am currently in Tampa, Florida, visiting my uncle for a couple days. So, if I sound way quieter, there are people in the same room that I'm in right now that are asleep, and I'm just trying to keep my voice down. Not gonna scream. I'm gonna try to keep this as calmly as possible. But this is your WWE Elimination Chamber review. The last stop, the last pay per view until WrestleMania. And I felt like going into tonight. We're going to try to make this as quick as possible, by the way. But I felt like going into tonight, this needed to be a. This was a must win for WWE. You know how, like, in the NFL, you have that absolute must win game. Like, you are in the last week of the season, you are fighting for the division and the number one seed. This is a must win game. If you win, not only do you win your division, but you get home field advantage in the playoffs. But if you lose, you're going on the road in the first round as a wild card. This felt like a must win game for WWE tonight, and it was okay. And honestly, if I'm gonna be honest with you, okay is not good enough for the road to WrestleMania. It's just not. Um, this feels like the same pay per view structure, PLE, whatever you want to call it, every pay per view now. I'm just gonna fucking call it pay per view. You get long. There's so many things wrong with this. Like, there was good too. The women's chamber match was fine. It was way too. Both chamber matches were way too short, and people were making that as an excuse as to why there was only 4 matches on the show. Oh, the chamber matches are going to be so long. They're going to be 45 minutes to an hour each. That's fucking bullshit, dude. No way. Um, that's bullshit. Both the entrances were nearly as longer as the match was. The entrances for the men's elimination chamber match was about 20 minutes, and I would say the match went around 24 minutes. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. That was. I don't know about you guys. I'm happy Cody didn't win. Cody's still going to get the match at WrestleMania. We'll talk about that later. Randy Orton won the men's chamber match. I'm cool with it, but my fucking god, that match was horrible. I absolutely hated everything about that match. I hated everything about that match. So horrible. From the long damn entrances to Logan Paul looking like an unstoppable force in this match. Really? Um, the whole masked men, they revealed it. It was Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is back. That's good, I guess. Um, Seth Rollins is one of my favorites, so I won't complain. Um, but the match was just so poorly booked, man, and it was just I felt like they barely used the fucking chamber. That's the my that's my big criticism. Is the entrances, and they barely used the fucking chamber. So, I don't want to be on here for forever. So, I'm going to I'm just going to get the show started, because if I ramble on and on and on, I'll be on here for 40 minutes, and quite frankly, I don't want to be on here for 40 minutes. So, I thought the show was okay, but I mean, it was better than the Royal Rumble, but that doesn't say much considering how bad the Royal Rumble was this year. It was an okay show that just isn't good enough for how bad this road to WrestleMania has been. So we had the women's Elimination Chamber match. We had Kiana James and Tiffany Stratton kicking things off. Then we had Alexa Bliss. We had Asuka. We had Rhea Ripley. And our first elimination came when Alexa was looking for Sister Abigail to Kiana James, and she got misted in the face by Asuka, and Kiana James rolled up. Kiana James rolled up Alexa Bliss, and then Raquel Rodriguez was last. Raquel Rodriguez looked like a freaking beast in this match. I will give her credit. She looked really good, and this crowd was freaking upset when she got eliminated. So they had a huge spot where she power slammed Kiana James through the pod and then tossed her into the ring. Tejana Bomb, Asuka on top of her. She eliminated Asuka and Kiana James at the same time, and the crowd was going wild for Raquel Rodriguez. And then they had, I guess, Tiffany and Raquel were fighting, and Rhea Ripley was on top of the pod. And Rhea Ripley hits a huge, massive cannonball onto Raquel Rodriguez, and Tiffany then hits the prettiest moonsault ever. 1, 2, 3. And we're down to Rhea and Tiffany, just like everybody expected. Tiffany went for the prettiest moonsault ever. After a couple moves, Rhea smashed her face into the pod. Riptide, and then Rhea Ripley won this match. Pyro went off, just like I predicted. They would lose the women's tag team titles, her and Io on SmackDown, and then Rhea would go on to face Jade Cargill. And honestly, I'm okay with it. I'm not upset about this result. This is probably the biggest match they can do for the SmackDown women's division right now. I guess this means that if Rhea Ripley is feuding with Jade Cargill, she's going to have to move over to SmackDown. So Rhea Ripley's not going to be on Netflix anymore. She's going to be on SmackDown. She's going to be feuding with Jade. And I don't necessarily think this means she's going to beat Jade at WrestleMania. Should she beat Jade? Absolutely. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see where things go. But I thought for the match, I mean, the match was, it was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good match. But it wasn't better than last year's match. Absolutely not. It wasn't better than the one the year. I mean, maybe it was, but it definitely wasn't better than last year's match. But Rhea Ripley wins. It's safe. It's predictable, yes. It absolutely falls into that category. But just like Liv Morgan, it makes sense. So, this makes sense. We're getting Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania. And we went from that to AJ Lee challenging Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. AJ's first match in about 11 years. First singles match in 11 years. And she won the title. AJ Lee is the new Intercontinental Champion, which I'm kind of shocked by. I thought Becky was going to win this match, but I'm so over this feud. The match was fine. I thought for it being her first singles match in over 11 years, I thought she moved fine in the ring. She tapped out when referee Jessica Carr got knocked out. Becky was furious. She ripped off the turnbuckle. The turnbuckle came back to bite her. At the end, she hit a manhandle slam and kicked out. And and yeah, man, it was an okay match. It was fine for what it was, but this just means the feud is going to continue. And I don't know exactly how to feel about that, but I want to get into this next match because this was easily the best thing on the show. And I wish I had a breakdown of this match, but I don't. CM Punk versus Finn Balor. I'm so happy. By the way, before I start talking about the match, I'm so happy that there was no Judgment Day in this match. I'm happy we didn't get interference from JD McDonough. We didn't get experience from any interference from Dominic Mysterio. Um, this was just a great match, and the crowd did sound tired for a little bit, and that's another point. I'll get to that in the main event. I'll get to the crowd in the main event. But this was easily the best thing on the show. Not even close. This was the match of the night. Um, this was probably. I'd have to go back and watch it again, but this was probably the best match WWE put on all year. This was such a great match. The entrance from CM Punk, that gave me chills. That was awesome with the serious, the old Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls music. The PA announcer for the Bulls was there. Crowd going absolutely insane, clapping to the song. CM Punk with his CM Punk jacket on, and coming out the Cult of Personality. The crowd was going crazy. Finn Balor took control for the first half of this match, and Punk had a bloody mouth. I don't know where he got it from, but I am gonna go back and watch this match. But they escaped from their moves. They kicked out of some really cool moves. Balor escaped from the coup de grace. Punk kicked out of the coup de grace. Balor escaped from the GTS. We'll go from here. This is all I really have. Punk was on the top rope looking for the elbow. Bloody mouth and all. Was able to connect on the elbow, but Finn Balor kicked out at 2. Balor would then hit a sling blade onto CM Punk. Take a couple minutes to recuperate. Set up for the shotgun drop kick. CM Punk ducked out of the way. Now I'm lost. Okay. So he hit a clothesline. He didn't duck out of the way. CM Punk hit a clothesline after the shotgun drop kick. He then went for the legs and tried to hit a sharpshooter, but Balor countered it, going for the leg a little bit. Punk then went right back on top of Finn Balor with the Anaconda Vice. Balor was able to escape from it, roll out of it, and then do a roll up himself, and was then going with elbows. The match ended with Punk had already kicked out of the coup de grace, but Balor regained control, and he went for it again, but Punk caught him, went for the sharpshooter, and then hit the jumping knee to the corner and then doing like the foot stomps with Balor on the ground and Punk standing, the foot stomps, like holding the arms, kind of like the Blackpool Combat Club back in like 3 years ago with AEW. And he did that, hit a GTS on Finn Balor, and retained the World Heavyweight Championship. I am really happy with how this came out to be. How rare is it on a WWE PLE that we just get a straight up one-on-one world title match with no interference? It's almost a breath of fresh air. So I'm really happy it happened. It was a great match. Punk retained. Now we don't have to waste our time with this feud anymore, because it was a waste of time, basically, after we had already confirmed CM Punk versus Roman Reigns right in Philadelphia about a month ago, and now they're going to be meeting up again this upcoming Monday on Raw, so we will see how that transpires. So, alright. This fucking crate. Oh my gosh. So, it was reported yesterday that Danhausen's contract with AEW had just ran out. And Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis are unscrewing the crate, and fucking these girls in Danhausen face paint, they came out of nowhere, and then out came Danhausen. They all danced to the ring with Danhausen. Danhausen walked around the ring, greeted Michael Cole with teeth, came into the ring, cursed, and the lights darkened, and the crowd booed Danhausen. Yes, you heard that right. This crowd tonight in Chicago, Illinois, booed Danhausen coming out of the crate. And this was a complete fucking flop from WWE. I mean, they deserve it. I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but they deserve it. Because this is the fucking payoff that we get. Anything in creative now, it's a mystery. That's Triple H's thing. How can we hook people? It's a mystery. Who attacked Jacob Fatu? Who attacked Jey Uso? Who is the masked man? What's in the crate? That is the main creative direction. That's how you get people hooked. And he came out, he had a small pop. But then I feel like majority of the audience, there was a section of that crowd in Chicago who knew who Danhausen was. And then there was a lot of fans in that building who had no idea who Danhausen was. And it's not like Danhausen was a fucking household name in AEW. He was on TV for, I would say, what? A year? Maybe? Was he even a part of the All In shows? I don't think so. I don't even remember the last time Danhausen was on AEW television. I don't remember a memorable match from Danhausen in AEW. I don't remember a memorable segment with Danhausen in AEW. He's not a household name. And this was after the CM Punk Finn Balor match. And that match ended at 8:57, and the men's Elimination Chamber match didn't start until 9:37. So you mean to tell me this was a pay-per-view worthy match? This was a pay-per-view worthy moment to debut Danhausen and have him get booed out of the building in Chicago, where, I don't know, after that CM Punk match, you could have had Dragon Lee versus Gunther for 20 minutes. You could have had them go out there for 15 minutes. It didn't have to be a long match, but guess what? Give them 13, 15 minutes. They could have had a very good match in that time frame. You didn't have to shaft them to Raw on Monday. It would have been way freaking better to have them wrestle on this show instead of what we got with Danhausen. Also, I'm supposed to believe that Danhausen and 8 girls were in that fucking crate for 11 days. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? Seriously. Now, I was completely wrong about this debut, because I read all the reports about Danhausen and him being a free agent and the post he was making on social media. I was like, okay, you know what? He's not my cup of tea. I don't like all the silliness and the comedy. That's just not what that's not what I enjoy mostly. Sure, it's good to have some comedy once in a while when it's actually good. I'm not necessarily amazed with the cursing and him cursing people, but this was such a letdown. This was a letdown, and I thought going into it, okay, WWE fans, they're gonna love a character like Danhausen. They're gonna buy his merchandise. They're gonna have face paint like him going to the shows. Kids will love him. And it completely fucking flopped. It flopped like a fish. And nobody deserves it more than WWE. This bullshit crate storyline that they've had for 2 weeks, the payoff was horrible. And this guy is gonna be another fucking R-Truth. It's just another comedy character you have now in WWE. R-Truth, Alpha Academy, Mr. Iguana, Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry's not going to be a player on the main roster. Let's be real. Danhausen. I'm supposed to take fucking Danhausen seriously? Come on, guys. Come on. This was horrible. And honestly, it wasn't even the worst thing on the show. Because if I told you a match with Randy Orton, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Javon Evans, Trick Williams, and Logan Paul was going to be the worst thing on the show, you would have said, boy, you are watching the wrong show. But nope. I was not watching the wrong show. I've watched a few bad Elimination Chamber matches in my lifetime. I thought that Chamber match in 2022, where Brock Lesnar just destroyed everybody, I thought that was pretty bad. I thought that was better than this. I'm going to give you guys a bold take. This was the worst Elimination Chamber match I've ever watched. Hands down. The worst match ever. Elimination Chamber. So, Randy Orton was last. And all the guys were still in the ring. They barely fucking utilized this chamber. They barely utilized it, bro. Javon Evans was the first one out. Hit a frog splash where he landed knees first onto Trick Williams. And then Logan Paul hit him with a pulverizer and eliminated Javon Evans. And then LA Knight blocked an RKO from Randy Orton, and he hit him with a BFT. And for some reason, the fucking referee went to go check on Randy Orton, and from behind, Logan Paul hit LA Knight with a low blow, and Logan Paul fucking pinned LA Knight. So I guess they're gonna... There's two guys in the group. I guess they're gonna continue feuding Logan Paul or LA Knight with Logan Paul and Austin Theory going into WrestleMania. I'm sorry, the vision is completely dead. Feuding LA Knight with those guys is a horrible idea. Horrible idea. And then Trick Williams eats a crossroads. Cody Rhodes gets thrown into the ring post, but guess who? Guess who gets the pin? Logan Paul. So they fucking had Logan Paul look like a fucking beast, and this crowd was silent. Silent. They could have given Trick a couple eliminations. They could have given LA Knight at least one. Okay, at least one. But no, we're gonna make and I said it last night. I like Logan Paul. I do. But no spotlight for Javon Evans. No spotlight for Trick Williams. LA Knight looks like a fucking geek. This was such a awful match. Awful fucking match. So this is where the shit happens. The masked man wants to get involved. And security gets this masked man away. And it's another nobody. But while that is all going on, the actual masked man snuck up into the chamber, gave a curb stomp to Logan Paul, and Cody Rhodes went for the pin, and Cody Rhodes eliminated Logan Paul. And the masked man went to reveal itself, and it was Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is the mystery masked man for 4 weeks now. It was Seth Rollins all along, and Paul Heyman was shocked. You could see the shocked look on his face. My only hope for this is, can Braun Breaker pull off a miracle? Can Braun Breaker get back in time for WrestleMania? Because then what the fuck are we going to do with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania? Logan Paul? That cannot be the answer. That absolutely cannot be the answer. We've already had that. We have already had that match at WrestleMania. So I'm hoping that a miracle happens and we get Seth versus Braun Breaker at WrestleMania. And then we were down to 2. Cody Rhodes, I just dozed off for a minute. That's how uninteresting, that's how bad this match was. I'm dozing off in the middle of my review. The ending was Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, and Cody was going for the crossroads on Randy, and Drew McIntyre got involved. Drew McIntyre got involved, hit Cody with the title, tried to give him a Claymore, but he got hit with an RKO by Randy Orton. Cody then hit him with a crossroads as Randy was encouraging him. Randy then finally pulled the trigger, an RKO on Cody, and Randy Orton won the Elimination Chamber. Randy Orton is going to WrestleMania, and I'm sure some of you have. I'm sure some of you have figured it out, but if I could find it here, we have some breaking news as pertains to SmackDown on Friday. And this was Nick Aldis at the beginning of the press conference at the Chamber.
Drew McIntyre, I've told you time and time again to stay out of this and let this happen the right way so that one man could earn the shot to face you at WrestleMania, but you couldn't do that, could you? Like a little boy, you can't stand when the attention isn't all on you. Well, it's all on you now, Drew. And now I need your attention to be on me. Because, Drew, you seem to be so hell-bent on preventing Cody Rhodes to get another shot at you. Well, guess what? This Friday night on SmackDown, it is Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. Wow. And that's all I have to say about it. You just heard it.
So there you go. There you go. That was the big breaking news coming out of the Chamber press conference, Chamber post-show, is Friday night on SmackDown. In 6 nights, we're going to get Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. This will lead to Jacob Fatu. I can already see it. I'm going to tell you exactly how it's going to go. This will lead to Jacob Fatu getting pissed that Cody's getting the shot over him. Jacob Fatu is going to cause a disqualification. Randy Orton will come out. We will have a brawl. And we will get our fatal 4-way for the Night 1 main event of WrestleMania. Your Night 1 main event of WrestleMania is going to be Randy Orton versus Jacob Fatu versus Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. That's why that title match was made on SmackDown, because they're going to make this into an angle, and they're going to make this Cody Rhodes, Fatu, Orton, and McIntyre in a fatal 4-way. So, I mean, sure, cool, Randy Orton won, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a multi-man match. It's going to be a multi-man match for the WWE title, and it's been building to that way for months. I just didn't expect them for Randy Orton to win. So honestly, good for Randy that he is going to get this big-time main event match at WrestleMania, because he deserves it. He's been put through some shit. Last year, WrestleMania, Joe Hendry. SummerSlam, teaming up with Jelly Roll. In and out of television. Coming back, and, he's feuding with Aleister Black. His booking, Randy Orton's booking, hasn't been the best since the last year. So, I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy that Randy Orton is getting this spotlight at WrestleMania this year. So, that's my Elimination Chamber review. There were some good things. The Chamber match for the women was pretty good. The AJ match was okay. The Punk Valor match was great. That was easily the best thing on the show. The cons, though. The advertisements, the commercials. It was 40 minutes from the time the Punk match got over to the start of the men's match. 40 minutes with no wrestling on a PLE. Commercials, advertisements, Danhausen, recaps from a 4 match, like we're some fucking stupid fans. So, entrances, the Danhausen segment, the main event, everything about the main event. At the end of the day, the cons outweigh the pros. It was an okay show. I'm giving it a thumbs down though. So, I will see you guys Friday for SmackDown because I'm on vacation. So, I will not be doing a Monday Night Raw review on Monday. And when I get back home on Tuesday, I'm going to the Sixers game Wednesday night with my girlfriend. So, no Raw on Monday, no AEW on Wednesday. So the next time I will see you guys is right here on the Big Fight Fuel channel for Friday Night SmackDown. Alright, guys. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy. Peace.